Students, welcome to the official channel of Saurav Sir's classes once again. Today we are going to do something very different in our lecture. Basically, just brushing up the concepts that come in civil service examinations or banking, PO, clerk, any examinations. It's a bit boring and monotonous, so just deviating from the contents that we have dealt with in the previous lectures, I'll be starting this video or initiating this video with a topic much different from that appears with exams. That is the importance of English as a language for both native and modern speakers, and also I'll suggest you some tips how to prepare for English in competitive exams. Now, English is one of the most important languages used across a globe. Now, what makes this language to be so important or significant to be known? Why does this language constitute a part of every competitive exams we appear in? Only because India was a colony under the British rule for 200 years? Not really. Well, not only in India but in many Western countries or other countries, the utility and importance of English as a language cannot be denied. So what makes English so popular and significant? We are going to discuss that point-wise, and after discussing about the importance of English language, I'll be giving you tips on how to improvise on the English for competitive exams, and I'll be discussing about the exam pattern or what generally constitutes the English paper in all competitive exams. Stay tuned, watch till the end. So, first important point that supporting why English is an important language is that English is the language spoken by majority of people in the world. So English is the language which is spoken by majority of people in the world. Yes, you are right. So apart from 400 million native speakers we have in this language, there are around 1 to 1.6 billion people who comprehend and understand this language pretty well. Yes, so you can pretty much understand the vast amount of population that knows this language, adores this language, and is actively using this language as a medium to communicate with other people. And not only so, the English language is the official medium for imparting instruction in schools or major educational institutions in most of the countries across the world. So it's pretty well understood, or it can be pretty well comprehended how important this language is for us. Next, the second point that reveals the importance of English is English is the language of the internet. So more than 50% of the content that gets uploaded in the internet is actually in English language. And as you all know that internet nowadays is very important, because internet is a very vital source of information for people, and it is very handy, useful, and that is why people prefer to rely on this means of communication. So majority of the content that is uploaded on social media is in English. So that makes English significant. Next, English is the mother of several other languages used globally. So, major languages used in Western countries: German, Russian, France, So all these languages have essential words derived from English. So in that sense, English stands as the mother language of all these native foreign languages. So in that sense, English is very important. Next, using English, a simple idea can be expressed in variety of ways. So English is a very diverse language, my dear students. If you can just pick up any one word, you'll be able to find tens and hundreds of synonyms to that particular word. Now, revolving around that word or keeping our concept intact on that word, we can use the synonyms of that same word to constitute the same idea differently. So, English is such a diverse language that a simple idea can be expressed in a variety of ways. Okay? Next. English is simple to learn. The vocabulary may be grasped more flexibly. So English as a language is very simple to be learned, and more so the vocabulary of this language can be easily grasped. It is not that difficult to, communicate or understand in English. What mainly prevents people from learning English is their inborn fear towards that language and the lack of confidence which gets portrayed later on. Otherwise, English as a language is very flexible and very easy to be learned. Next. English is pretty adaptable. So English as a language is pretty adaptable. Why adaptable? Because it adapts to the modern and recent trends that is followed nowadays. For example, we use words like selfie, comma, hashtags, or photobombing. Nowhere in any ancient dictionary whatsoever in Oxford or in any modern standard dictionary comprising English words, you will find these words. These words have evolved in the present day context. Selfie is described as a kind of photo which is clicked using the front camera. So these words have evolved in the present day context, keeping in mind the use of internet, or like we are using modern day technology to click pictures and all. So keeping in mind these recent days evolution, English has a few other words added on to its periphery, which is like selfie, hashtags, and photobombing. Okay, and another important point which makes English an important language to be used is English is the official language for trade and business. So in order to enter the global workforce or global market, it is very important for you to grasp hold over the English language, because most of the traders or businessmen across the world, when we are about to sit across a table and discuss about their major proposals or plans, or they are going for a conference or meeting to discuss an important proposal pertaining their company's future, the major of the policies and programs are discussed in English. So, and even one more thing, that is English is the most common medium of instruction used in schools, and even majority of seminars or conferences in any discipline conducted all over the world is imparted in English language. So you can pretty well understand the necessity of learning this language, and you have been able to understand hopefully why English constitutes an important section in all the competitive exams. Now, so basically, what we will understand now is what are the sections in English we need to grasp upon while appearing for competitive exams. So, I'll quickly discuss with you the exam pattern. If you are planning to appear for any competitive exams, be it civil service examination, banking, PO, clerk, IBPS, IIT JAM, any sort of examination, 3 essential questions pertaining to English do come. The first one is comprehension skill. So, a standard comprehension passage will be provided to you with a certain set of questions following that passage. So basically you have to read that passage, and based on your novel understanding of that passage, you have to answer the questions that follow. So comprehension skills basically evaluate how your your rate of comprehending, how well you comprehend or come to a conclusion, how well you conclude from a given state of information, and how you are able to utilize that information adequately to produce something very new. Okay, so your comprehension skill really tests that. And next, the second important thing that is to be dealt with while appearing for competitive exams is vocabulary. Often students are asked to state the synonym of a particular word or an antonym. So what you generally need to deal with such problems are a rich and strong hold over vocabulary. You need to have a wide stock of English words, okay, and you must be able to utilize those stock of words appropriately in proper places. So your acquired fund of vocabulary should be very rich and enriched, and you should keep on enriching that in various ways. How to enrich the vocabulary? We will discuss that in the later section of the video. And last but not the least, another important section pertaining to English that comes in majority of competitive examination is grammar. Okay, under grammar we have reordering of sentences, next is sentence editing, so under grammar we mainly have these two sections. One is reordering of sentences and sentence editing. So basically your proficiency over English language is tested using your ability to find errors in a sentence. That is what constitutes sentence editing. And then your ability to solve parajumble, that is the different parts of a sentence will be presented to you in a jumbled form. You have to rearrange the sentences in a proper manner so that the entire passage now conveys a simple meaning holistically. So these are the 3 important topics that come for English in competitive examinations. Okay. Now, some tips to deal with English for competitive exams. Now, what is the major thing that actually prevents you from gaining proficiency in this language? Have you ever asked yourself, Or have you ever made an attempt to stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself, why are you actually weak in English? I'll tell you the reason. One of the first and foremost reasons why students fail to grasp the basic English vocabulary is their inherent fear and lack of confidence. I was already discussing about this in the first half of the video. So first and foremost thing you need to do, my dear students, is get rid of this phobia for English language. Alright, I repeat, to get rid of this phobia for English language. This is the first and foremost step you need to take before you attempt to solve English for competitive examinations. Now, some tips that can enable you improvise upon your English language for competitive examinations. First and foremost tip will be reading newspapers. So, basically, I know reading newspapers sometimes gets boring, especially if you have a hectic day or hectic schedule lined up throughout the day and you're not really in a mood to glance through the newspaper, or you have less time to glance through the newspaper. My suggestion is read at least one page of the newspaper per day and read that topic which interests you. Like suppose you are interested in films and music. So that section of the newspaper which contains updates regarding music and entertainment should be glanced at least once by you throughout the entire day. Doesn't take much time, at least 5 minutes. So if you go through more and more newspapers, your fund of vocabulary or your stock of words will be enriched. And you will be able to understand how to convey a meaning, or report on some incident or report about something that is going on in a short, brief and crisp manner using appropriate words. So that is very important for you to deal with. Next is, in order to gain fluency in English, it is very important for you to communicate with others in this language. Yes, my dear students, communicating with others in this language will enable you gain fluency in this language. Whenever you are conversing with one another, suppose you are obstructed in the middle because you are getting hindrance, or you're not able to complete the sentence nicely, or you suddenly realize while uttering a sentence that, oh, I have committed a grammatical mistake. But as you all know, people learn from mistakes. So it is very important for you to start conversing in English with others so that you yourself are aware of what you're talking about and you are able to get that confidence from others that yes, you're able to express ideas to others using English language. Next. Solve test series. Okay, so the third point is a very vital point. Practice makes a man perfect, as the proverb goes. So it is very important for you to solve more test papers, especially if it's in online mode, and you must have an answer key to the test series so that you can then and there clarify your doubts and understand where you have gone wrong. So the more you practice, the more you the more you actually get perfection in the art of speaking English or writing English. Fourth point is think in English. There are times when we sit with one another, we just sit with oneself all alone, and several kinds of thoughts run through our mind. So it is during that time that you must start thinking in English, so that whenever your thinking is obstructed or you feel that you ain't able to communicate to yourself what is actually going on in your mind, that is because of the barrier you have towards that particular language, is when you will actually feel like solving the jumble puzzle and actually coming up with the appropriate terms that might, avoid the flaws while you're thinking in this language. So start doing it right from today. And last but not the least, you can always make a list of words that interests you and find synonyms to that word. So in that way, what you can do is you can express one idea as a single sentence, and you can attempt to express the same idea using another sentence. Okay, like suppose, and you can also grasp hold of the ways in which the same word can be expressed differently, in a different manner, in a different part of speech. Like for example, health, healthy, healthily. Okay, so health is the noun, healthy is the adjective, and healthily is the adverb. Okay, so now proper exercise and diet gives man good health. Okay, proper exercise and diet makes a man healthy, and proper exercise and diet enables a man live healthily. So you see, all these three sentences convey the same meaning, but we are using this particular word health in different parts of speech across the three sentences. So the same meaning is conveyed across the three different sentences, yet the single word is used differently in a different notation or in a different part of speech across the same sentences to convey the similar idea or concept. So this is all about today. I hope that I was able to present some valuable suggestions regarding improvising your grasp on English language. And if you want us to upload any tutorials on any particular topic you want us to cover, you're free to comment in the section given below. And do let us know how we can improve our content in our channel. Till then, stay tuned and hope to see you in the next video.